berbahagia Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Embong, Special Advisor to the Malaysian Social Science Association, distinguished keynote speakers and participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to wish everyone a warm welcome to the 9th International Malaysian Studies Conference. Without further ado, I would like to invite Ustaz Firdaus from Pusat Islam UMT for the Doa recital.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbana innana sami'na munadiyan yunadi lil iman an aminu bi rabbikum fa amanna. Rabbana faghfir lana dhunubana wa kaffir 'anna sayyi'atina wa tawaffana ma'al abrar. ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد اللهم يا رحمن يا عزيز يا غفار. Segala pujian dizahirkan padamu ya Allah, Tuhan yang berkuasa menjadikan langit sebagai teduhan. Selawat dan salam diutuskan buat junjungan besar Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah, kami memohon darimu, makmurkanlah kesepakatan kami ini dengan limpahan rahmat dan kasih-Mu. Tautkanlah ikatan ukhuwah dan silaturrahim antara kami. Jauhilah kami dari segala sifat mazmumah, hasad, dengki, fitnah, umpat keji dan segala yang membawa bencana kepada kami. Allahumma ya Rahman, ya Aziz, ya Ghaffar. Ya Allah, jadikanlah perhimpunan kami ini sebagai satu perhimpunan yang dirahmati, dan perpisahan kami pula selepas ini sebagai satu perpisahan yang diberkati dan dilindungi. Dan janganlah Engkau jadikan pada diri kami ini dan mereka yang bersama kami kebinasaan dan menyingkirkan kami dari memperolehi rahmat. Permudahkanlah urusan kami dan sempurnakanlah semua pekerjaan kami dengan kebaikan. Allahumma ansur Islam wal muslimin wal mujahidin ala Yahud. Allahumma ansurna alaihim fi kulli makan wa fi kulli zaman ya arhamar rahimin. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار يا الله وقنا عذاب النار يا رحمن وقنا عذاب النار يا رحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you, Ustaz. Ladies and gentlemen, it is then my pleasure to first invite the President of the Malaysian Social Science Association, Professor Dr. Rashila Ramli, for her welcome remarks and presidential address.
Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Ibrahim Komoo, the Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia Terengganu, Professor Dr. Wan Salihin Wang Abdullah, the Dean of School of Economic and Social Development, UMT, Professor Datuk Dr. Hamdan Adnan, the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, University Malaysia Sabah, Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Embong, Special Advisor to PSSM and Principal Fellow of IKMAS, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, honored participants of MSc 9. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and good morning. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome all of you on behalf of the Executive Committee members of Persatuan Sains Sosial Malaysia and Professor Solihin, the Dean of the Social Science Faculty in UMS, to our 9th International Malaysian Studies Conference at University Malaysia Terengganu for 3 days. Okay, so the welcome is for 3 days. Now, at least half of the participants here may be first-timers, but I can see so many MSc alumni and some hardcore MSc participants, and you know who you are. This is the beauty of MSc. It has become a part of the lives of many Malaysians in and out of the country. Saudara-saudari, ladies and gentlemen, MSc is the flagship of Persatuan Sains Sosial Malaysia, PSSM. Since its first inception in 1998 in University Malaya, under the presidency of Professor Jomo, MSc has travelled throughout Malaysia and has grown stronger and stronger each time. I can testify to this because I am one of the hardcores who have been part of the organizing committee since MSc 2. So you can imagine how many years that has been, yeah? We have moved from Klang Valley to Kuching for MSc 6 and Penang for MSc 7. Now, thanks to the leadership of Emeritus Professor Dato Ibrahim Komoo and his hardworking team under Professor Dr. Wan Salihin and Dr. Nur Hayati Sa'ad, we are able to be here in UMT in beautiful Terengganu to commence the MSc 9. MSc 9 offers, I believe, quite an enviable menu to whet your academic appetite. We will serve the full meal not in one sitting but in 3 days. 3 keynotes addresses as appetizers, 47 panels as main dishes, and 2 round tables as desserts. This year, we also provide conversational spaces where participants can hold meetings, workshops, small workshops as well. We also hope to provide running coffee, tea, and mineral water for all. Basic sustenance for most academics, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a tradition in MSc that the president will deliver the presidential speech during the opening ceremony. Well, when I joined PSSM back in 1996 as life member, I never thought that I would be delivering the presidential speech 18 years later. I will touch on 3 points in this speech: the passing of baton, the basic reorganization of PSSM, and our academic space. Now, if you have read the Malaysian Studies book, Malaysian Studies Looking Forward, Moving forward, you would have realized that social sciences and humanities studies in Malaysia started in the 60s with scholars such as Professor Said Najib and Professor Said Hussein Al-Attas. They are the first bastion of knowledge of social sciences in Malaysia. They paved the way for social sciences studies. Then we have the present cohort who are in their 6th series and 7th series. Starting with Prof. Komoo, who was our first president of MSc, eminent scholars such as distinguished Professor Datuk Dr. Samsul Amri, who will be here later, Prof. Dato Sharifah Zaleha Said Hassan, Prof. Francis Loh, Prof. Diana Wong, and so many others. And these are scholars who have paved more ways and set higher standards for us to reach in the future. When I was elected the president of PSSM this April, recently becoming the 6th president, I was told by our special advisor that it is the coming of age of the 3rd generation of scholars for our countries, scholars in the 5 series. What does that mean? It means that we have the responsibility to ensure that social sciences and humanities as fields of studies will always be given its proper space in the academic education realm of Malaysia. The problems that our society is facing must be studied with the necessary academic rigor in order for our work to be relevant, to be respected, and to be referred to. PSSM provides a platform for its members to have a healthy academic discourse. Collective responsibility pushing social science forward can only be carried if we know what our core business is and how to go about and achieve it. Thus, in the first EXCO meeting, we reorganized the management focus of PSSM into two major pillars, that is, education and advocacy. Within the education pillar, PSSM will focus on capacity building, publications, and networking with strategic partners. Capacity building for young scholars is a program that PSSM started way back in the year 2006. Young scholars who presented papers at MSCs are given the opportunity to be given tutelage and mentoring to polish up their papers toward a publishable level. On three occasions in UNIMAS, University Al-Bukhari, and also in UKM, PSSM was requested to facilitate the program. Under education, we have also work on research projects as well as publish books, mainly for academic consumption. We have established networks with partners such as UNESCO Bangkok. We are very fortunate to have here with us Dr. Susan Weiss here, who is the Regional Advisor for Human and Social Sciences in UNESCO Bangkok. So Dr. Weiss, welcome to MSc 9. In fact, the first regional advisor who was in MSc, who came to MSc was in the year 2000, Dr. Malamar Malasi. Malaysia actually. So, you know, you are our the second regional advisor to be with us. And today we also welcome many new partners here. For example, we have Dr. Henrik Berglund from Stockholm University. We have colleagues from actually Japan, founded by Japan Foundation, presented by Professor Mako Yoshimura from Hosei University. And I see quite a number of Japanese students back here, right at the back there. Okay, can you raise your hand up there? Okay, there's a number of Japanese students. Welcome to MSc 9. And also colleagues from through our DAAD Germany, represented by the participation of Professor Dagmar Obelis, our colleague up there, and through the program, Dr. Mariam Ahmedi. Where are you? Mariam, okay, from Afghanistan. So we have a whole group of scholars here from different parts of the world in MSc. And we also welcome colleagues from, I know, Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines, who are here to convene actually the first joint organizational meeting for a women's conference to be held in 2015. And these are a group of scholars from our network with APWLD, the Asia Pacific Forum for Women and Development. Dr. Titik, Dr. Judy, and today I think, Dr. Nutamon, yes, is arriving from Thailand. Okay, so, you know, this is a good network of scholars who are interested in similar issues. So I hope you will use this venue to network with one another. Now, the second pillar of PSSM is advocacy. All Malaysians here have various perspectives and hold specific and excuse me a second here. All right. All Malaysians here have various perspectives and hold, and there are times that we do question the status quo. Now we need to also practice what we are preaching, and that brings me to the last part of our of this welcoming address as well as presidential speech. Remember, this is my first time giving this presidential speech, okay? So, and the role of PSSM, social scientists and social activists, is actually a voice of conscience for society. Now, of course, we do not take our issues to the street. We do not condone practice that hit below the belt. Instead, PSSM works outside the limelight. Through the years, our members have given input leading towards new public policies. We have issued press statements to state our positions on matters such as academic freedom, ethnic tolerance, as well as the role of the media. It is my hope that we can continue with such work with renewed vigor. It is my hope also that PSSM will work harder for its member. On that same note also, it is not only that the question of what PSSM can do for its members, but it is also the question of what members can do for the organization. And I hope that these are the questions which are in your mind. Now, we have revamped to a certain extent the internal organization of PSSM in order to meet the increased needs of its members. As a non-profit organization, it is the selfless, voluntary work and time of our members that give life to the organization. Sustaining energy to do voluntary work for a long duration of time is not an easy feat. So I hope that that is something that we all can work together in the organization. Now, the new EXCO and all the EXCOs, even previously, EXCO members of, as far as I'm concerned, PSSM, are not a selfless lot. Thus, are a selfless lot. Thus, while I feel the weight of the responsibility on my shoulders, I also know that the weight is lightened because I know that I have many people that I can count on to deliver the goods on an unconditional basis. Ladies and gentlemen, before I end, once again, I take the opportunity to thank Professor Emeritus Dato Dr. Ibrahim Komoo and the crew in UMT and the crew, of course, in UKM as well as PSSM, specifically those in ICMAS, and the entire secretariat of PSSM, last but not least, our partners and sponsors. And with that, I once again welcome all of you to MSc 9, and inshallah, we will have a very meaningful conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia Professor, for the enlightening welcome remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are honored to invite Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Ibrahim Komoo, Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia Terengganu, to deliver his opening address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Rashila Ramli, President Malaysian Social Science Association, come Director of the Institute of Malaysian and International Studies, ICMAS UKM. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Wan Salihin Abdullah, Dean School of Social and Economic Development, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu, co-host of the 9th International Malaysian Studies Conference, MSc 9. Yang berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Embong, Advisor Malaysian Social Science Association, Principal Fellow of ICMAS, and Visiting Professor of UMT. Some of my old friends here, some new friend and friend-to-be, special guests, keynote speakers, students, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a pleasure for me to welcome you all to UMT Kuala Terengganu as the co-host, together with the Malaysian Social Science Association, PSSM, and the Institute of Malaysian and International Studies, ICMAS, UKM. I'm proud that we will be able to bring this prestigious 9 International Malaysian Studies Conference, MSc 9, to the small campus, UMT, and also to the East Coast of Malaysia. In fact, when Professor Rahman Embong met me maybe a year ago, and asked me whether this campus is suitable for this conference, without hesitation, I say yes, why not? what was mentioned by Prof. Rashila earlier, MSc being a flagship of PSSM and has been hosted at various venues such as University Malaya, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, Universiti Putra Malaysia, Universiti Malaysia Sarawak, and Universiti Sains Malaysia. So I presume this is the first time in UMT, and thus it is an honor for UMT to host this interesting conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that many of you is the first time here in East Coast, in Kuala Terengganu, particularly in University Malaysia Terengganu. So I would like to tell a little bit about UMT, University Malaysia Terengganu. UMT is a relatively small university and relatively new university. Started in 2001 as a college university, KUSTEM, and then promoted to full-fledged university in 2007, just about 6-7 years ago, having roughly about 600 academic staff and close to 10,000 students. The emphasis of the university, this is a public university, one of the 20 public universities, mostly in West Coast, but we have 4 public universities in the East Coast, 2 in Terengganu, 1 in Kelantan, and 1 in Pahang. Our university is not comprehensive university, it's a focused university, providing the opportunity for the student and also researcher to really focus on knowledge of marine science and aquatic resources. So then, because of the university is very focused on the marine science and aquatic resources, a lot of people thought that whether social science have the room or not. Recently, I have restructured the academic program, and we have introduced school instead of a previously faculty, and we have introduced 8 schools dealing with teaching and learning, namely marine science and environment, fishery and agriculture, maritime business and management, food science and technology, informatics and applied science, applied mathematics, fundamental science, ocean engineering, and last but not least, School of Social and Economic Development. So we have 1 out of 8 school which is purely cater for social science. For that reason, I accepted the invitation and I asked the dean of the school to co-host this prestigious conference. Most of the school will provide programs for teaching and learning, but we also organize ourselves to provide a research platform. So for this university, we have 4 research institutes, namely Institute of Institute of Oceanography and Environment, in short, INOS, and this is one of the research institute which was given the status Higher Education Center of Excellence. This is the first, this is the first research institute outside research university that is given the status. The second institute is Marine Biotechnology. The third research institute is Tropical Aquaculture. And finally, the new research institute is called Kenyir Research Institute. So within this Kenyir Research Institute, we have a Center for Social Development. And in that particular angle, we provide avenue or platform for the academics and students to conduct their social science research. I wish that after this conference, some of you may have looked at our facilities and our staff and our academics here and try to collaborate, and hopefully we'll come back later and become partner and collaborator in some of the research that we are conducting here. For the time being, the research in social science in UMT is relatively small. It is very much focused on social science per se, particularly looking at community along the coastal of the South China Sea. But I'm hoping that the social science researcher will broaden their perspective and looking at many of our sciences program and sciences research focus, like biotech, aquaculture, marine science, and collaborate with them. And I'm sure there are so many and so much input needed for the science-based research program. For some time, I've been thinking about why must we do research in a very sectoral manner. Social scientists do social science work, and science doing science work, engineering people doing engineering work, whereas the world is not like that. And most of the issues and problems are interrelated and require multiple disciplines to solve it. So it is our hope that social scientists in the near future will start making more friends to other disciplines like science, technology, and social science. And I can assure you that so much room for innovation, research innovation, is there for joint collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, I was told this conference will have 3 keynote addresses, and I'm waiting for the first one. Hopefully I have some time to listen and learn from Datuk Rahman. And 47 panels and 2 round tables, and I'm sure MSc 9 will have plenty to offer. And I'm sure there will be ocean of discoveries to be made in the next few days. Our tagline is Ocean of Discoveries. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Malaysian Social Science Association, as well as the Dean, School of Social and Economic Development, UMT, and his team from UMT and ICMAS. Furthermore, I want to acknowledge our respected strategic partners such as UNESCO, Japan Foundation, Forum Asia of Stockholm University, and DAAD of Germany, as well as the Institute Integrity Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best, and with lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I declare the 9th International Malaysian Studies Conference officially opened.
Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia Datuk, for your insightful opening address. Ladies and gentlemen, now for the souvenir presentation, may I invite Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Rashila, accompanied by Professor Dr. Wan Salihin, to present a token of appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Ibrahim Komoo. Thank you, Professor Rashila. And to proceed with the next session, I would like to invite the guest of honor to head to the allocated seats for the keynote address. Fellow audience, ladies and gentlemen, it is then my pleasure to invite Professor Rashila to chair the first conference keynote address that will be delivered by Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Embong, Special Advisor to the Malaysian Social Science Association. With that, thank you.
Thank you very much, our MC. And now we move on to the first keynote address this morning. And it is the tradition, we've got many traditions here. It is a tradition that the president is to chair the first keynote. Okay, so this is something I am assuming right now. So we are very lucky with us because we have our special advisor to PSSM who will be delivering the keynote this morning. And if you all look in your program, which everybody should have in your bags, okay, all the 3 keynotes, abstracts as well as the biodata are inside the program book. Yeah. So for this morning, Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Embong, who is the Principal Fellow of ICMAS as well as the visiting professor in UMT, will be delivering the keynote address entitled Malaysia's Development Beyond 2020 and the Challenge for Social Science. Professor Emeritus Professor Rahman Embong is actually a professor in Sociology of Development, and as you know, already mentioned maybe, he was the president of PSSM for 10 years, between the year 2000 and 2010. He has published numerous books, minimum of 20, I think, at least, and we would like to hear more from him today, because we would like to learn and maybe take some points for future activities that we can do within PSSM. So, Prof. Rahman, I am going to give you the floor, and we shall start the keynote address pretty soon. There is a few technical things going on around here, so just bear with us. But while the technical setup is going on, I do like you to know that the conference will be going on in 3 different rooms on both sides. Yeah, there are 6 rooms. We are running parallels, and the fact that we do have conference assistants to help you. And the conference assistants will be wearing the red tag, and they are actually combination of both, from some from UKM, some from UMT, and also from our University of Nottingham, colleagues from there. So that is our network of conference assistants. Are we ready for the keynote? Just a technical, okay. Computer now? Ready. Okay. Dah. Let me check. Okay, so we are getting ready right now, and I think I will test this first. I tell you. Okay, just testing to make sure that we've got a better view here. Alright, so okay, I think we are ready. Okay. So Rahman, I'm going to sit down because I cannot see the.
How much time do I have? Now I feel comfortable. Saudari Rashila, President of Madam President, Saudara Prof. Ibrahim Komoo, Vice Chancellor of UMT, Saudara Wan Solehin, Datuk Hamdan from UMS, my old friend Pak Hans Evers, originally from not originally, from Bonn, who is currently eminent visiting professor at University Brunei Darussalam. Can someone help me with this? I cannot be holding this at the same time. Dr. Susan Weiss, Regional Advisor for Social and Human Sciences, Asia Pacific, UNESCO Bangkok. Old friends, new friends, young friends. When I say old friends, does not mean age, you know. I've been friends that we have known for a long, long time. I can see Rudiger there in the audience. Okay, thank you. Okay. Boleh lah. Rasakan mantap tak apa. Okay. Alright. Okay, thank you very much for the warm welcome to me as the so-called special advisor of the Malaysian Social Science Association. The name advisor sounds nice, but you know what advisors are. Sometimes the advice does not necessarily be heard, right? But in the case of PSSM, I can assure you that the advisor is not, the advice is not one way. It's always mutual, dialoguing and all that. And one of the things that the PSSM has been very good at is trying to bring the conference outside of the Klang Valley. Instead of being too Klang Valley centric, it tries to go to be more inclusive by including the various universities in the various parts of the country, and also to bring in participants from various parts of the world, besides the Malaysians. I think the President has mentioned that very clearly, and I just would like to congratulate the new President, Professor Rashila, as the first lady President of the Malaysian Social Science Association. And despite the fact that she's the first and has assumed the presidency only recently, she has delivered her keynote address, her presidential address. And I also would like to recognize Professor Hazim, who was the previous president of PSN before Prof. Rashila, who succeeded me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what I have been asked to do is to speak around the theme of the conference, which is development. Malaysia's development 2020 and beyond. It's a tall order to talk about development in about 50 minutes or so, and to engage with so many distinguished scholars from various parts of the world, especially with Pak Hans, who is well known. He headed the Center for Development Studies in Bielefeld for more than a decade, and has produced dozens of PhD graduates who are, I think, in various parts. Many are in Malaysia, but also in other parts of the world. What I want to do is actually to engage with the theme of development from the perspective of social science. And I'm glad just now Prof. Ibrahim, in his opening speech, talked about the need for the collaboration, the integration between the social sciences and the natural sciences, and that the social scientists are enjoined or encouraged to go beyond the disciplines, to work together with the sciences, because the problems that we face are multifaceted, multidimensional. So anyway, what I want to do is to just look at development historically, to help historicize development, so to speak, by looking at a number of global scenarios and the knowledge constructions that emerge from the challenges of the global scenarios. And then to discuss briefly the Malaysian development paradigm that has been enunciated, and to look briefly into the development beyond 2020, not looking into the crystal, but to look at it from the angle of the social science. What should we do? And then, of course, to end with some kind of remarks, closing remarks. Now, let me first talk about the global scenarios. The term development has become a mantra in the literature, in policy circles, after the Second World War. And if you remember the context, the end of the Second World War brought about a new kind of war, which is a Cold War between the East and the West, when the West and the East rather. And some of you also may have remember the speech by the President of the United States, which in late 1940s